I grew up in a big blended family where we all consider ourselves siblings, and I consider my stepmom my mom. All of us kids are close except for one, my stepsister Liana, fake name. My parents just think it's because she didn't grow up with the rest of us, but that it's okay, and it's not. Yes, by the time she came to live with us, she was almost 18, but it's not because of that. It's because she cost the rest of us our futures. See, when she came to live with us, she had been independently homeschooled. She was said to be very smart, but testing revealed that she only had about a ninth grade education and no transferable credits. Neither our school nor the public wanted to place her above ninth grade. Since she was only about a month from turning 18, this would mean she'd be in high school until her 21st birthday and would more likely than not have to drop out anyway. The only other option was to have her get a GED. They were devastated, especially because she had an offer from family friends to get her into and through college if she did a specific program in which she did have an advanced education. If she didn't graduate that year, they would question how bad it was and likely rescind the offer. The only other option was for her to get a GED, which would force the family friend to revoke the offer, even if they still wanted to help, because she could never get accepted with a GED. My parents worried about this until someone they knew who was the administrator of another private school offered to help out. They offered to enroll her as a senior and she could spend the year catching up, provided that they saw in their hearts to give a donation, of course. $100K later, she graduated from an accredited high school and moved on to college. My family is just regular middle class, so paying that meant that the rest of us had to take out massive student loans, and my youngest siblings even had to switch to public school. My older brother got some help before this, but there wasn't a dime for the rest of us. My parents justified it by saying that they had to do it because it was their job to give all of their kids as close to an equal start in their lives as possible, and this was the only option to do that for her. My mom asked why we all have strained relationships with Liana, and it finally came out that, truthfully, we resent her for the enormous financial load she caused on us and the entire family. It's been 10 years and she's never even tried to apologize or make amends, and it's grating. Now my father says that my mom has fallen into a depression because nobody loves Liana but her, and that we weren't a family despite everything she's ever done. We are a family, just not with Liana. Am I the idiot for reminding my parents that my stepsister ruined our family's future? OP, so what was Liana's big offense? So bad you refused to give her a chance? Oh, I get it. She existed. You are the idiot. Liana was a child who was failed. You act like her situation is her fault, when it's not. Your parents chose to pay that money, and that acquaintance with the private school took advantage of them. You're supposedly an adult. Try acting like one. Yep, I kept waiting for the point in the story where Liana did something terrible to you and your siblings to make you hate her. That point never came. Someone did Liana very wrong by homeschooling her rather than sending her to a real school, and sadly, your parents had to stump up so much money to rectify this damage. She cost the rest of us our futures. OMG, no, she did not. How unbelievably dramatic are you? It doesn't sound like your future's been destroyed because you went to college too. And if you really had massive loans, then your small share of that $100,000 would have barely made a dent. Your resentment dripped from your story and is entirely misplaced. Grow up. Yeah, $100K divided by at least 4 more kids would have been $25K each. It's a nice amount of money, but that barely covers 1 year of education. They would have had to take out massive loans anyway. Liana may not have been the one to do the action, but she 100% knows that her siblings got nothing because she got so much. Liana isn't an idiot. Maybe an "I'm sorry our parents failed you by helping me" would have been appropriate, but neither is OP. The parents are 100% idiots. I, 34 female, have recently encountered a situation with my husband, 37, and I'm curious whether I'm the idiot here or not. So my husband and I have been together for 8 years, married for 7. When I got married, My mother came to me privately and talked about setting aside money as a rainy day or escape fund if worse came to worse. My husband has never shown any signs of being dangerous and rarely even gets upset, but the way my mother talked about it, it seemed like a no-brainer to have. When my husband and I got together, we agreed I would be a stay-at-home wife. We're both child-free, so that was never a concern. My husband made a comfortable mid-six-figure salary. All was good until about 2 years ago, when he was injured at work in a near-fatal accident. Between hospital bills and a lawsuit that we lost that ate up nearly all of our savings, I took a part-time job while my husband was recovering. But when he fully recovered, we transitioned back to me being unemployed, as my husband insisted that it was his role to provide. He currently is working 2 full-time jobs and Uber on his days off to keep us afloat. Here's where I might be the idiot. I manage all the expenses and have continued putting money into my escape account, although I significantly decreased it from $750 to just $200 a month. My husband came home exhausted one night and asked about downsizing because the stress of work would kill him. I told him downsizing would not be an option, as I had spent years making our house a home. So I wasn't moving, but I offered to go back to work. He tried to be nice, but basically told me that my going back to work wouldn't make enough. After an argument, my husband reviewed our finances to see where we could cut back. He was confused when he saw that I had regular reoccurring withdrawals leading back years and asked me about it. I broke down and revealed my money to him, which was about $47,000. After I told him all this, he just broke down sobbing. His point of view is I treated him like a predator and hid money from him for years, even when he was at his lowest. I told him the money was a precaution that I would have taken with any partner and not specific to him. He left the house to stay with his brother and said I hurt him on every possible level. But my mom says that this is exactly what the money is for and should bail now. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. I can't even believe you're questioning it. You're also a thief and a user. He nearly died in an accident. He's working several jobs, and he wants to downsize, considering he's covering everything alone. Meanwhile, you've siphoned $47K out of him to squirrel away. Lady, what kind of monster are you? I'm not sure I understand why she'd think this money was fully hers. It was amassed during a marriage. He broke down crying because he's exhausted, and you still didn't tell him. You refused to downsize, as you've worked hard to make a home. You didn't work 3 darn jobs though, did you? If you don't want to leave the house, figure out how $47K can help you stay, and allow your husband to at least quit the Uber gig. Geez, you and your mother are awful people. $750 a month? You're a thief. I hope he divorces you. I can see having a fund of $5 to $10K, but anything more than that is ridiculous. And without investing it, she actually lost money. However, everyone's the idiot here. The husband is a dumb idiot. What possible reason is there to have someone sit on their butt all day at home when you don't have kids? Absent kids, there really isn't that much housework to do unless you all go all out and make home-cooked meals from scratch, 3 meals a day, etc., etc. OMG, he's struggling because she took all his money in case she had to leave him. I have 4 siblings, and all of us have at least 1 or 2 kids under the age of 10. My oldest brother's the only one whose children are over 10 years old. He has a teen daughter, Melody, and a teen stepdaughter, Leah. My siblings and I need babysitters for our kids, and a few months ago, we started asking Melody to be our sitter. She's been doing a really good job, and it's very good for us because we trust her, and so we're not worried about our kids anymore. Also, we like to pay her some extra money each time as a way of spoiling our niece. The problem is my sister-in-law has been insisting that we should use Leah as our babysitter too, which none of us wants to do. Every time we ask Melody, she interrupts us and says, "How about Leah does it this time?" It happened again yesterday when I was asking Melody to babysit. My sister-in-law interrupted me and said, "Let Leah do it this time." I finally snapped at her and told her that our kids aren't the only kids on earth. And sure, Leah can find a job somewhere else. She insists that this is different, that the rest of the jobs don't pay this much, and they don't have these advantages, referring to us giving Melody a ride to and from our house, taking her out for ice cream afterward, and etc. I told her that I'll still not be giving her daughter a job, and she called me an idiot. Edit. I wouldn't call Leah unreliable, but she's definitely not as reliable as Melody. Once my wife was in an accident, and I needed a sitter. Melody already had plans with her friends. Do you know what she did? She canceled all her plans to babysit for me. Would Leah do that? I don't think so. Is it also a blood thing? Yeah, maybe it is. After all, Melody is my biological niece, the one I watched grow up, and the one my kids and I trust. Not the idiot. It's nobody's business who you trust to watch your kids. You trust Melody. Hire Melody. You don't trust Leah. You don't hire Leah. If your sister-in-law wants to have this as an opportunity for Leah to bond with her new cousins and become part of the family, fine. That's not a problem. OP is not indicated or even implied that he doesn't trust Leah. His only response to why he won't hire is, "I don't want to." It seems to me his reason is that she isn't blood, and while OP is entitled to hire whomever he chooses, if you're denying one child an opportunity based solely on blood relations, you are kind of an idiot for it. I disagree. People are talking about giving Leah a chance to bond with her new family and giving her a chance to bond with step-cousins without ever owning up to the fact that to give Leah a chance to do it, OP must take the job away from Melody. Tell me how well you expect this to work for the sibling blending. It's not taking away her job. It's simply splitting it. No one is saying Leah has to take every babysitting gig. There are 4 siblings with 4 to 8 kids between them. It's not going to kill Melody if Leah takes on the babysitter role occasionally. Yeah, sure. Does Melody want the job split? No. She wants to make money. Does Leah have to babysit for her step-cousins? No. There are other gigs out there, but they don't pay as well or give the same perks. So the biggest issue here is Melody, right? It's only reasonable to force Melody to give up her money for her new step-sibling, right? Blending families takes time, and there are other ways and times to do this, besides a way that literally takes money away from Melody and risks resentment there. I, 48 female, am marrying my soon-to-be husband, 39. This is my second marriage. The first ended with my husband cheating on me and moving in with his mistress. He offered me a tidy sum to divorce him. I took that money and moved abroad, where I met my now husband. My kids, 27 male and 25 female, are angry that they're not invited to my wedding. They found out through extended family that I'm getting remarried. We got divorced 5 years ago, so they were 22 and 20. They weren't little kids. They wanted me to be friends with my ex and his mistress. My ex wanted me to give my blessing for his relationship. Apparently, I was his best friend, and he loved me as the mother of his children, but he was in love with his mistress. He was shocked when I no longer wanted to contact him. My kids thought I should forgive him and be friends. They went as far as to invite me to lunch or dinner with them, and then surprise invited my ex and his mistress. They would host family events with their SOs and lie to me that my ex would be earlier or later, so I didn't bump into him. Of course, he was always there. They cannot handle that he and I are no longer on speaking terms, and they want us to get along. Due to their behavior, I'm not in contact with them. It's my choice. I have no desire to be friends with my ex and his mistress. Am I the idiot for not inviting my kids to my wedding? Not the idiot. The way your children have behaved towards you so far, I would be worried that they wouldn't do something wrong at the wedding. Also, I think it's pretty cold-hearted and selfish for your children and ex-husband to keep confronting you about your ex-husband's cheating and asking for your blessing. What the heck is wrong with them? Your kids are over 20 and should know better. People say my best friend when they really mean my best doormat. OP, that all sounds sick and toxic. Your children should still know better at their age and start living their lives independently of their father's approval. It's sick of them to act like that without considering your feelings. Well, now they get what they deserve. Congratulations on your marriage. My best friend, Vanessa, 24 female, and I, 25 female, have been friends since the second grade. We've supported each other's successes and accomplishments, and we're always there when one of us needs the other. We've also always split the check when we go out for dinner or brunch. We've agreed to do that for a long time. Plus, it saves time and doesn't complicate things for us and the servers, and it doesn't matter how much one of us ordered. She was the one who suggested it, and I was like, okay, sure. I'm not really a big eater, so whenever we would go out, I would only order about 15 to 35% of the entire price for both. Vanessa, on the other hand, always has a huge appetite and would order 65 to 85%. The percentages depend on the occasion, appetite, and the price of the food. Recently, Vanessa got a huge promotion at her job, for which she's been working her butt off, and she wanted to celebrate, so she suggested that we go out to this fine dining restaurant nearby, and I agreed because she deserved it. But before I continue, I should add that a few weeks prior, my older sister Bianca told me how ridiculous it was that I was splitting the check by paying half of it when I only order food that amounted to only a quarter of the check. So before Vanessa and I ordered our food, I told her I only wanted to pay for the food I ordered. She said, okay. When she saw that I was actually paying for my own food, she was like, wait, you were serious before? Yes, I was being serious. And she said, oh, I wouldn't have ordered so much if I knew you were being serious. The total bill was around $560, and I only ordered around $145 worth of food. I asked her, why wouldn't she think I was being serious? And she said that it was because we'd been splitting the check in half for so long that she thought I was joking. I told her that I'm just sick and tired of paying half when I only ordered a small percentage. Like I'm paying at least $50 to $100 more than I should every time. So she became a bit mad and said, and you just decided to be a witch and pull this stunt on the day when I got promoted? Fine then, I'll pay for my food. And she did, and just exited right after without even waiting for me, which wasn't cool because she had picked me up at my place and drove us here. So I had to call an Uber and pay $36 for the ride home. This morning, my phone was full of messages from my other friends saying that I was an idiot for demanding this on the day of her big promotion and for being a cheapskate. I just don't want to overpay so much. It's fine if it's $10 or $20 more than what I ordered, but over $130, that amount can go towards necessities and bills. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Oh, I wouldn't have ordered so much if I knew you were being serious. Everything could have been an innocent mistake up to that point, but that comment shows she's been taking advantage of you. Also, she's not your friend. She got a promotion and wants you to pay more for her to celebrate it? At a restaurant she picked. I've taken my friends out to celebrate their accomplishments before, but if I'm handling all or most of the bills, I'm also picking the restaurant. Of course, none of my friends are rude enough to ask me to take them out to a massively fancy restaurant on my dime. The total bill was around $560. What the living heck? OP spent $145. That means she spent almost $420 by herself. How can you spend that amount of money? You mentioned she earns more, and you don't understand why she would do this. I earn more than my friends. I often go way over the top when we go out to eat. And you know what happens? I pay more than my share to make sure no one has to pay for me. She doesn't sound like a friend. She sounds like a user. If you still have any doubts, go back and read this line where she said, oh, I wouldn't have ordered so much if I knew you were being serious. Your food was 26% of the bill. Her food was 74% of the bill. Yet she still expected you to pay 50-50? And she ordered tons of expensive food based on the assumption you would pay? This has nothing to do with her promotion. I would seriously reconsider my friendship with this person.